Hi, this is Tooshie from Audrey Horne, and you're watching Loud TV. Stay pure and heavy, man. Yeah, of course. I think it's, some of us, like Icedale plays with Enslaved, and we used to have a bass player that was in Gorgoroth earlier. But the rest of us, we're not from the extreme metal scene. But I think the extreme metal scene in Norway has done a lot for bands like us as well, because of their fame in Europe and the rest of the world. People pay attention to bands like us because they're from the same city as those bands. So people pick up on our music as well. So to us, it's a good thing with that the black metal scene became so big. The Norwegian black metal scene became so big in Europe because it gives us basically free publicity in many ways.
And what about the rock scene or other rock scene in Norway? What is?
It's very good. There are extremely many good rock bands in Norway, and there are, of course, not that many that are famous outside of Norway. You have some that are, we are starting to get a good crowd outside of Norway. Kvelertak has been doing really well, and there's shitloads of really good rock bands in Norway. So the scene is quite big, but maybe not enough bands have reached out and made a name for themselves outside of Norway. Yeah, it's what you get from touring. Since we released Youngblood, we did 3 tours, one with Soulstaffer and Long Distance Calling, and one with Karma to Burn and Gold, and then we did one with Grand Magus and Zodiac, and now we're doing this with 77 and Pet the Preacher. So this is like a 5th tour since Youngblood. Plus we've done a UK tour as well. So that's what you get from touring. Hopefully you get a bigger crowd every time you come back, because people go to your show, and if you do a good show, then they talk about it, and then next time you come, people are like, yeah, someone told me that was good, I'm gonna go and check that out. So it's the only way to build an audience, really. It's the tour, and of course you can get played on the radio and stuff like that, but it's touring is the best publicity you have, basically. We haven't been there. Well, we have been there. We played a couple of gigs over there because we were invited to the South by Southwest festival in Austin, Texas. So we went over there and did a couple of shows. And we also recorded our 3rd album, the one called Audrey Horne. We recorded that one in Los Angeles, so we've been over there, but the US is so big and there's so many bands touring there. So if you're going to make a name for yourself there, you have to take a year off and to only tour the US. I think we would love to go over there and play, but we're really happy with touring in Europe, so we'll see. So we are inspired by movies, by nature, books, by things that happens in the world, by friends, family. Everything inspires you somehow. So I think it's hard to pinpoint like one specific thing, and that's why normally I say the bands we grew up with, because that's easy for people to relate to. they can listen to our music and say, yeah, I can hear that they are inspired by Kiss and Thin Lizzy and all of that. But
So now we drive to Germany.
but I think we are inspired by a lot more, and probably nature as well. You know, it's everything that makes an impact on you comes out in your art or in things you do. So I wouldn't say that it's either culture or nature. I think it's a bit of both. It's everything basically. Yeah, the band is totally fucked up. Forget about it. I don't even want to go there. No, I think it is probably that is a bit of the same, because you know, when we make our music, when we play live, we don't stand still and try to play as good as possible. And when we go into studio, we record live, and if it's not perfect, we don't care, you know, as long as it's got a vibe, as long as it's got energy. And with our live shows, you know, there's so much energy, and that takes away. Sometimes we do mistakes when we play, but we don't care about that, because it's the whole package that is important when you make music and when you play live. Because I think nobody's perfect. We're not perfect, you know. When you see a video with a rock band, they look like they're perfect people, and they look good, and everything is well, but nobody's perfect. And I think people relate to things that are not perfect, things that have flaws, because they're not perfect themselves, so it's easier to relate to. And that's why, you know, when you see like these fashion models that are, you know, they are being like, when you see pictures, they Photoshop and make them sort of perfect, and women don't relate to that, because no woman looked like that. So every woman would just look at themselves and go like, fuck, I don't look like that, you know. And I think that when they see a model that is not perfect, then they will go like, that's good, I believe in that, you know. And the same thing goes with music. It's not meant to be perfect. And I think these days so many artists, especially within pop music and stuff like that, there is no flaws. Everything is perfect, and nothing is slightly out of tune or out of beat. Everything is perfect, and most people find that music not interesting, because it's too perfect. Basically, they cut every hit on the drum almost and edit it together so it's perfect, and it's like a drummer says when he hears some of those albums, he go like, this is impossible to play. It's not possible to do this. Not humanly, you can't do that really. And I find music like that really boring. I like music that are a bit fucked up, that has a nerve, and yeah. So I think like the Twin Peak character, what makes her interesting is that she's very beautiful and she's very seductive and everything, but she's kind of fucked up in the head, and that makes her a bit more interesting, because she was only nice. If she was only nice and good, then she would be a bit boring, you know. So we record live, and then of course we add overdubs if we want that. And on Youngblood we hardly did any overdubs. But Youngblood is basically the sound of the band, and that's it. On Pure Heavy we produced it a bit more. We did more overdubs. We used samples of like trains and church bells and stuff like that. So it's but the whole point of making albums like that is to get that energy, that live energy, because you don't get that if you play drums and then you put bass on top of that, which is like perfect on time, and then guitars, and then, you know, edit it and fix it so everything is where it's supposed to be. Things should be a little bit out of place sometimes. It makes the music vibrate more. Well, it was basically that, you know, that we made a sort of a video that had the Muppet Show theme to it, and in the Muppet Show they always had like celebrities and famous people as guests, and the thing that made it interesting was like the interaction between these fucked up puppets and this living person. So we figured we need the same thing, and then in the beginning we thought of just having some human characters there, and then we talked about maybe we should do what Muppet Show, maybe we should have someone that people will recognize, you know. And we talked about different people, and then we've known Johan and his wife for many years, so we thought it would be cool to have him because he's kind of out of place, you know, music-wise. He comes from the band that he sings in, so we figured that could be cool because it's always interesting when there's someone who's slightly out of place and you go like, what the fuck is he doing there, you know? It makes it more interesting. So we talked to him and asked him, you know, if he was interested in doing this. And he's a brilliant guy. He's a very sweet, nice guy, and he's got a great sense of humor. So it was no problem at all to get him to do this. He was happy to do it, and I think the video turned out really good. It's a great video. We're going to go do another tour next year, sometimes in the first part of next year. Our management wants us to do like a support tour, do support for a bigger band, which could be a good idea because we've been out now, sort of playing with bands that are on the same level as us or smaller bands. So we've been building an audience and a crowd, but it might be a good idea to do support for a bigger band, so you can sort of reach out to a bigger audience. And then we're going to start write new material because that's what we do. You know, we write music and play music. So we have a bunch of ideas for new songs already. So we're going to start doing that, and then we'll see what happens. You know, as much touring as possible, and hopefully a lot of festivals next summer. No, so basically that's what we're doing. We're going to tour and make new music.